Guys, it's Fonzie with DipYourCar.com. This is the DYC Dipping Industry Dipping Podcast,
I'm not helping you.
episode number
8.
Velez says 9.
8.
It's 8, episode number 8. This is Fonzie from DipYourCar.com, as always with Adam and our sound guy, Dan. We've got a very interesting show for you guys today. We've got an interesting guest, somebody who won a very nice title for 2014. What else we got, Adam?
We also are going to, we got a great question that we decided to make into a talking point this week about how do we keep our cars that we're photoing and doing videos on, how do we keep them looking as good as new for as long as possible? We're going to touch on some stuff about some sponsorships. I know people went kind of crazy over that Seaver fight and the NASCAR race, and then we're going to hit hopefully a couple question and answers.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll have time for some Q&A. But first, we have an awesome guy with a very awesome dip job on the phone right now. We have the 2014 Dip of the Year winner, Jason. How are you, buddy?
Doing great, thanks.
You're very welcome. Now, you essentially you followed along with the contest for 2014 Dip of the Year. It was by far the closest Dip of the Year contest that we've had so far. Sometimes what will happen in those contests is you'll see somebody just run away with it. And I'm sure you were watching it. You and Wes Carty with that patina dipped Beetle were going neck and neck for a very long period of time. Was that nerve-wracking for you?
Yeah, I didn't get much done at work for about 5 days there.
Yeah, it's something that you probably want to watch pretty close if you're in it. Now, for anyone who hasn't seen it, you have and completed that Captain America themed Mustang. It's it's one of those things where we get dip jobs sent into us all the time. Jared will be like, "Hey, take a look at this. Take a look at this." This is one of those ones where we took a look at it and it was almost like, Jesus, like seriously. You take a look and you're like, "Hold on, pull that up, make it bigger," and you just start looking at the pictures and it's just, I mean, you put a lot of work into that, dude. I mean, can you talk us through a little bit of how you got the idea to do that design?
Well, it was about a year ago. I'd actually seen a picture. Somebody had actually done that as a paint job on a '65 Mustang,
Mm-hmm.
and I thought, man, that's just beautiful. Just the way the tears and everything. I thought, man, I'd love to be able to do that someday. And um, the red, white, and blue Monster Energies came out right about that same time, and
Mm-hmm.
it was about September of 2013 when I kind of came up with the idea to do the whole red, white, and blue with the Monster Energy on it. And it all came from this picture of the '65 Mustang that I saw. The guy's name that did the car originally is Raymond Rake,
Mm-hmm.
I believe. Was
So,
in like a 50 magazine like years ago. But I
okay.
thought that was like the coolest thing ever.
So last year, and I'm sure people probably remember this, last year you did a monster theme on the Mustang, and that was black. It had a lot of different fluorescent greens and stuff into it. How long ago did you do that one? Do you remember?
That was July in 2013 when I did that one.
Okay. And do you have an affiliation with Monster just so we can get it out there, or is it you just drink a lot
No,
of those?
I'm a big fan of Von Gittin Jr.
Hmm.
Been following him since '05, since he started, and I love my Mustangs, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought, well, what cooler way to pay tribute than to have one of what I think is one of the baddest looking, race car Mustangs out there. And I thought, man, I wonder if I could do that with Plasti Dip.
Yeah.
The rest is history.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's one of those things where this is two cars, or essentially the same car, but two different themes, 2 years in a row that are just very intricate, very detailed, process oriented. Now, how long? First of all, did you have any help doing this design, or was it all you, or did you collaborate with some people?
Which one?
With the current Dip of the Year winner with the American
The
theme.
current one, basically that idea popped in my head about a year ago. I knew how I wanted to do it, what I wanted to do. Mr. Wes Carty was definitely nice enough, since we're friends. He let me use the shop, and I laid down the base coats, was able to do all of the airbrush work, and then since he has much more experience than I do with spraying whole cars, because I
Mm-hmm.
haven't done one since last year when I
Mm-hmm.
did the green car. He sprayed the blue and then helped me spray the clear on top so that it had a nice, smooth, even finish.
Sweet. Those type of collaborations are when magic really starts to happen, man. I mean, I'm taking a look at the pictures now. You know, I've always wanted to ask you this. I was going to ask you last week, but I wanted to save it for the interview. The tears where the blue and the white are coming together. I mean, you've got some very sharp lines there. People have been asking us how you pulled that off. What was the masking process to get those blue over white tears?
What I used was I used 2-inch blue painter's tape.
Mm-hmm.
But they have some stuff. 3M makes some really low tack. I think it's got like some orange lettering on it. That's what I used. It's also, I found on the first monster car, important to wait a good day or so for the base coats to kind of cure before you do it. Otherwise, you'll end up peeling up the dip with the tape.
Mm-hmm. So did you cut it? I mean, I know that
Oh,
a lot of those
yeah, sorry.
stripes and streaks are way thinner than 2 inches. So how did you?
Basically, just tear it down the middle.
Okay.
It gives you that kind of uneven tear look. You just tear the 2-inch tape right down the middle, use both sides, and trimmed it as needed. I laid both sides out freehand. I actually did the one side and then took a picture of it, and then reversed the picture so that I could try and put the tears in the same places and make the same looking tears on the other side of the car.
Wow. So you tried to mirror both sides of the car. A lot
Hmm.
of people would probably just kind of half-ass that and say, well, you're not going to see both sides of the car at the same time. That's a very respectable thing to do to make that match.
Yeah, if you look at both sides, I mean they're not exact, but
Hmm.
the same holes are roughly in the same places.
It's
And
crazy.
yeah, what color went down on the car first, and then on top of it?
I used 3 gallons of just gunmetal gray. I wanted to start with a nice thick base, make sure I had enough product on there, and then I used maybe a half a gallon of the aluminum
Oh.
to do from the fenders around the back of the car, and I mean with the base down, it covered fantastic. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Those true metallics cover like a freaking jacket, man. I love that stuff. And now you've got the blue and the silver, the aluminum down, and then came the red for the airbrushing in the back.
well, okay, I did the aluminum, and then I went and I did all of my stencil airbrushing work with the rivets and that kind of weathered look. I did that around the sides, the back, and then I mixed like a red candy pearl pigment in with clear dip
Mm-hmm.
because I wanted you to be able to see. I wanted that red to be translucent so that you could see all of that rivet detail work through the red.
Oh, okay.
And well, it worked perfect the first time, so I didn't have to redo anything, which was nice.
Yeah.
But I laid the red down, and then I airbrushed the flames with the red, and then I taped the blue off, and then we sprayed the blue, and then did a 50-50 matte clear, gloss clear top coat.
And that's what's giving the blue, the fenders and hood and everything that nice sheen to it.
Mhm.
And everything from the airbrushing all the way around the car, everything stayed nice and protected and sealed under that mixture of the 50-50 glossifier and matte clear.
Oh yeah, it's been great. I wanted to spray over those sharp edges where the blue overlapped, just to
Mm-hmm.
kind of help protect it because, um, as you know, like last year on the monster car, all of the M's and all of the graphics were all hand taped,
Yeah.
sprayed, and then unmasked. And I didn't put a clear coat over the top because I didn't want to have. I wanted the contrast of the glossier color on the matte car.
Okay. Yeah, I remember that one worked out great, and this one's just kind of that next step up. I mean, there's so much work that went into that. You sealed it up, and then you came in with the decals after it, correct?
Correct.
Okay, and you got the monster stuff on there. I mean, it looks. I don't know, man. It's almost like it's just on a whole nother production level. You know what I mean? You look at it and it's so well done. There's so much color to it. The details there, and there's a lot of this, dude. There's a lot of good dip jobs out there. And something that I really appreciate is when we have a contest like Dip of the Year, and think about what that says. You're talking about Dip of the Year. Thousands and tens of thousands of people dip their car every year. and how many hundreds participate. I mean, we get what, 225 average submissions for Dip of the Month every month between Dip of the Month and featured installer. All this stuff boils down into a pot. And if you're going to really try to solidify one car as Dip of the Year, I would have to say that this really earns that title. It's not a fan favorite to where somebody had a ton of buddies that went out and voted and got him the win. This is
This
I
is a car that you would think would be in a movie.
Yeah. I mean, it's just one of those ones where any true dipper out there, any purist dipper who's been doing it, who knows what goes into something like this, like Josh from back in the old DYC forum days, or Wes, or anybody who's put time into a car like this, is going to look at that and go, yeah, all right, Dip of the Year. No, I can't hate on that. I could take that, and you should
Right.
be very proud of that car, man.
I'm extremely humbled and proud to even have made it that far. There have been there's so many people that I follow that, Instagram and Facebook, that have just awesome stuff out there. Like I geeked out over London's wood grain. Like,
Yeah.
you have no idea.
He's a great example of who I was just talking about. Guys that have really put a lot of time and energy into certain dip jobs. They just take that, guys like you in London, and these guys just take things to that next level. And you look at it, and if you know what goes into it, you think, you're just from a human nature point of view, you process, Jesus, that took a lot of
The
time.
man hours, yeah.
Yeah, and then you think,
Mhm.
do I have that much time? Would I want to put that much time into it? And there's a lot of people that go, no, I won't do that.
Right.
And then the people who do is where it really shines. So I think the real question for you, dude, is what do you have next? Now, did you get, correct me if I'm wrong, and if I'm wrong, it's going to be a very hurtful statement. Did you get a 2015 GT?
That is correct.
Yeah, okay, I thought I saw that.
bought another one.
Yeah, and I can't blame you. It's a freaking beautiful car. Do you have any plans for that one, or any new plans for this one?
I do. I'm kind of back and forth on ideas. Thinking about doing something again to the 12. But I've got plans for the 15 as soon as parts are available. The whole RTR brand stuff is probably due like in the summer sometime.
Mhm.
So I want to wait to dip it until I get the parts on, and then I have an idea.
Okay. And how do you like that car? Just from, I mean, I've had a couple Mustangs in my day. I mean, is it everything that kind of people expected it to be versus the year before?
Yeah, it's fantastic. I mean, it's got good lines. It drives nice. Right now it's quiet because it's all stock, but
Yeah.
that won't be for too much longer here, hopefully.
No, and they made some big steps on the interior of that car too.
What's that?
I said they made some big step ups on the interior of that new car too.
Oh, huge steps on the interior. I wanted the Recaro, so I actually ordered it with the Recaros this time, and yeah, I'm happy I did that because they look cool. They're tight. They're comfortable.
Very cool. Well, I'm excited for what you're going to do next, whether it's a dip job on the 12 or on the 15. Everything that you kick out, you don't push out a lot of dip jobs, but the ones that you do are very high quality. So we really appreciate that. We appreciate you taking the time to come on. We're honored to have you on the show as the 2014 Dip of the Year winner. Your trophy and plaque is getting built up for you. So we want you to be proud of that, and we wanted to say thank you as well.
Awesome. Thank you, guys. Thanks for having an awesome product. I'm a huge believer in it, and can't wait to turn something else out this year.
No, it's our pleasure, brother. Take care, Jason. I'll talk to you very soon, man.
Awesome. Thanks, man. Thanks, guys.
Take care.
I like his little teaser there. He's like, "Yeah, I got something planned."
I wouldn't tell us either.
That's a Fonzie type tease right there.
Yeah, I wouldn't. I mean, if he does have a plan, I wouldn't say anything.
Right. No,
I'd be
I
like,
mean,
nah.
Yeah, exactly. No, that's awesome.
Yeah, he's a good dude. I've never spoken to him on the phone before. I trade a lot of private messages with a lot of people, but he takes a lot of pride in it, and I'm,
And he should. I mean,
yeah, it's a badass freaking dip job.
Yeah.
All right, what do we got next?
All right, next we're going to touch on our first question of the week. Like I said in the intro, a lot of people ask us, I see those photos that you guys snap weeks and months after you've actually dipped the car for the first time. What are you guys doing to those cars to make them look that good for that long?
Well, I can tell you what our weekly routine is. and we have a bunch of different shop cars that are all dipped, obviously, and they need to be maintained and they need to be looking good. I mean, a lot of people will take a look at our cars. They've seen them from the videos and they want to see them. They want to touch them. It's one of those things where we just have a routine and what we do. And I'm not saying this is the only way to take care of a dipped car, but what I am saying is that this is what works for us. Once a week, they get a dip foam bath. So what we do is we take the dip foam system, we completely cover the car in foam. It gets in every nook and every cranny of the car. You let it sit for a minute or so. We take a big soft bristle brush. It looks like a push broom, and if it's really dirty, if it's not dirty and it's just a maintenance wash, we'll just dip foam it and then power wash it down. It removes all the debris. If it's filthy, if it's it's got mud or anything like that or bugs, then we'll just kind of give it a nice scrub down, power wash it off, let it completely dry, give it a nice fresh coated dip coat, and then we're pretty much good to go. So every car every week is getting a dip foam bath and a fresh application dip coat, except for two, which we're just doing some long-term testing on how long dip coat or the effects of dip coat last on the new gloss, because the new gloss was designed and it works hand in hand with dip coat. It responds to dip coat exceptionally well.
Hmm.
So the SQ5 and the what was the one we
The
did? But the
Porsche.
S4.
Oh,
The SQ5 and the S4 both have the new gloss on it. As soon as we were done with that project, the next morning we put two coats of dip coat on those cars, and that's the suggested application. After you're done dipping your car, you dip coat the whole thing. You wait 15 minutes. You dip coat it again. A fresh new car gets two coats of dip coat. After that maintenance, you just do one every week or so like that. But we wanted to see how long that first two coats is going to last before we really feel like it needs to be reapplied. I mean, the SQ5 is, I don't know how old, how
I
long
mean
ago we did that.
that's weeks.
Month, it was over a month, right?
Probably on the verge.
Yeah, and we haven't re-dip coated that, and it
Mhm.
feels outstanding. And the S4 is even longer than that, and that one feels really good as well. So, other than that, they all get the dip coat. Now we have been testing. A lot of people like those waterless washes. Come in the spray bottle, 32-ounce spray bottle. You spray it on the car. You wipe it down with a microfiber. It takes all the surface dirt off. If you want a quick wipe down before a show or before a meet or whatever you're doing, if you don't have time or a hose to get the car washed. We've been testing several of those waterless washes. We will be choosing one and running with it as a Dip Your Car product. We just want to make sure we go through all the long-term testing, possible streaking. Does it get the product off? Is it leaving any film behind? Will it work on matte surface, satin surface, high gloss surface? Does it affect clarity? All those things. So we're running through. We're almost wrapping up a full month and a half of that type of a testing. So I think probably towards the end of the first quarter, we'll have a waterless wash.
Mhm.
Not going to be the only one that works. It's the one that we find that works the best and the one that we want to put our name behind.
Right. I think a lot of our listeners up north, northeast, the Midwest, really will appreciate you kind of going through what we do. With that debris on the roads up there. Well,
Oh my
the
God,
next
I
couple
can only
months.
imagine. Oh, and obviously BDP. Every time the car gets washed, you use Brake Dust Pro on the wheels.
Right.
Again, not the only way to get your wheels clean, but I haven't since
I
BDP came out over a year and a half, 2 years ago now.
right.
I haven't touched a wheel since BDP came out.
Right.
All you do is spray it on and let it bleed down and spray it back off, and it's
Yeah, that
done.
I tell people all the time that's like I think one of our most underrated products is because people,
BDP.
you know, I'm going through wheel kits and stuff like that with people on the phone and oh, what's BDP? And I just tell them all the
Yeah.
time
Well, people who
that's
used it know it works, and
right,
they never go back. And they also know it doesn't smell very good either.
right,
But
right.
I would like to say that you get used to it, but you know,
No, no,
I don't really mind it that much.
2 against 1, I think.
Hey, I mean, you know what? That's how you know it's working.
Right, exactly.
So,
All right. Let's move on. I know since this, like I said earlier, the Seaver fight and a couple fighters here and there that we've sponsored and the NASCAR race, we get truckloads of inquiries about sponsorships, and so I feel like that's something that we might want
mm.
to touch base on a little bit.
I think that's a really good topic to touch on because we get emails and phone calls about, will you sponsor my car every single day. And in the beginning, 2011, 2012, we were really looking for people to do a nice clean dip job, and we were more than happy to sponsor that car as far as providing product or discounts on product and just standard sponsorships. And what we've run into now, which is a bit of a challenge because one thing that we want to do is we want to try to make people happy. We do the best that we can to make everybody happy. We don't want anybody to feel left out. We don't want them to feel like we're not, connected there. So when people ask for sponsorships now, we're running into a little bit of a challenge because what we've done is we've refocused and reallocated. We have a marketing budget and a promotion budget every quarter. There's X number of dollars that we put in that budget, and there's X number of things that we can do with that. And over time, as we've started getting more and more involved in these mainstream media sponsorships, that budget's been getting eaten up. And when you talk about, the NASCAR, we're heavily involved in UFC, and a couple other things. It doesn't leave a whole lot of budget or money left over for those individual car sponsorships. So I think it's just something that we have to just say out there and put it out there that at this time, we're not really actively looking for individual DIY sponsors or sponsorships or cars to sponsor at this point. Once in a very blue moon, we'll find something that's very special and very, very unique, and we'll take some money out of another budget and just kind of reallocate that to make it work. And believe me, if you ask for a sponsorship and you get a response that's a no, it has nothing to do with you or your car or our lack of desire to do it. We would love to be deeply ingrained in working with these individual people hand in hand. I mean, that's how you really spread the word. There's absolutely value there. I'm not saying there's not value in taking a guy with a very cool car who wants to do a very good dip job on it and having some interaction sponsorship wise, but there's just different things that we're focusing on, and there's only so many dollars to go around. We're still a new company. We're
Right.
just past our 3-year mark. And for us to be involved with NASCAR at the level that we are and involved in this UFC situation, as much as we are, and doing things like the TV shows and stuff like that, um, we've got to make sure that we're smart with our money
Right.
and make sure that we get it in, working for us in the right way.
So if somebody thinks they have one of those things that, this is unique, um, I wonder if Dip Your Car is going to be interested in sponsoring me. What should I do?
Well, it never hurts to ask. That's one thing. It never hurts to ask. What you can do is email our marketing and media manager, Jared at DipYourCar.com, and he'll take a look at it. And he does bring things to me once in a while. Say, hey, take a look at this. They're looking for a sponsorship. What do you think? And once in a blue moon, we will find something that works. But as a whole, we're not looking for too many active sponsorships right now. And that's been going around for a very long time. So I just want to make sure we can address that.
Right. All right. Now Q&A. We got I mean, I think this today got the most questions we ever have. I mean, tons of emails pouring in all day. It was awesome to kind of go through those.
Hmm.
So we're gonna. I mean, how much time do you think we have?
We can kick out a bunch of Q&As.
Okay. All right. So I'll just start. First question is from Bruce, and he brought up a good point. When you release the video for the S8 and the Mustang, um, well, Mustang just came out today, but
Hmm.
he wanted to know how many coats of that new gloss top coat product were on both the S8 project and the Mustang, because you did mention that about those other videos, but the S8, I know a lot of people had that question.
The S8 had 3 coats of mocha brown dip pearl with the new top coat, and then it had 3 clean gloss top coats on top. The Mustang that we just finished, I don't even think at this time, 7 o'clock on Eastern Standard Time on Wednesday, I don't even think that video is out yet.
It wasn't live when I left the
No.
office.
We did 3 coats of pure gold alloy dip pearl in the new top coat, and 2 coats on that car of the new top coat as a gloss coat. And we're always trying to just vary how many. We've never gone to 4 yet. I don't know
It doesn't.
why. We could do 4. I'm not. It would get essentially glossier, but when you look at the S8, when you stand back after the third coat's dry, you're just like, what else do you need there?
There's no need, right?
So we did 2 on the Mustang just to see what it looks like. What happens is when you lay the gloss down. First of all, you you really, and I'll talk about all this during the launch video for the new gloss, but you really want to identify what materials you want to use for that project. And if your your end goal is to get a high gloss finish, you want to use this new top coat for the pearl coats and for the gloss top coats. That's how you're going to achieve the highest gloss finish. You can use the 50-50 blend of clear and matte clear and glossifier for your pearl coats and then drop the new top coat on top as a gloss. And yes, it's going to get glossy, but through our testing, we were able to identify a difference between if you did use the top coat for the pearl coats and then on top versus if you didn't. So if you're going into this and you want to get the highest gloss finish possible, you do want to use this new pearl coat, this new top coat for the pearls, and it works outstanding for the pearls. Honest to God, dude, I don't know. Once the new top coat comes out, I don't know why you would not use it for the pearls for one specific reason, and that's clarity.
Mm-hmm.
If the clarity is substantially better in the new top coat versus the 50-50 blend, for example, or really any other pearl substance right now, if the clarity is so much better on the new top coat, why would you not want to use that? If you see the two side by side, same pearl, and we've done this test numerous times, and we'll have to show, obviously now that we've gotten, the pre-orders coming up and stuff like that, we'll show the difference. That the old stuff, the 50-50 and gloss, it gives the pearls a frosted look. It mutes the sparkle effect. It mutes the real punch and pop to the pearls. So you definitely want those pearls to shine through. People who follow me on Instagram and stuff, you've seen those close-up pictures of those pearls. People think that it's metallic flake. They think, they don't know what it is, but those pearls sitting in that new top coat, that crystal clear. I mean, you can see them beautifully. So
Hashtag clarity.
hashtag clarity.
All right. Moving on. Matt wants to know, and he's going to be a disappointed listener because he's going to see me in this chair again this week. But
You love that chair.
That's not true. He wants to know if there's any plans for a more professional model of the DYC spray system.
Yeah, that's a really good question, actually. We are working right now with Earlix to essentially offer a higher level spray system, but it's not going to be outside of the DIY realm. There are spray systems that you can use, 5-stage turbines, compressor setups with guns, stuff that Joe Kilgallen from Custom Coatings was talking about. There are those professional level systems, but the one that we're thinking about coming and offering and putting on the table through DipYourCar is still in the DIY range as far as a price point, but essentially what it would be is the same hose, the same gun with a more powerful turbine. So if there are people out there that want more power, more atomization, the DYC turbine is around 3 psi. This one that we potentially could be talking about in the future is around that 6 psi range, so not super high end, but twice the power. I'm going to get a lot of personal messages on Facebook about this. When is it going to come out? When is it going to come out? I can tell you right now, if you're listening to this, we don't have a date on it. We're still talking about the logistics of it and price points and stuff like that. So to answer the question directly, we are considering that, yeah.
All right. Next, we get a lot of this question all the time because people think, hey, I'm in the South Florida area. I'm just going to come drop off my car at DYC. Can I have Fonzie dip my car? How much is it going to cost for you guys to dip my car? And we have to tell them all the time, actually we don't dip customer cars anymore. So how do we handle those inquiries? People want to know, like, actually this one gentleman asked specifically, how do you handle those type of calls? What do you guys say?
We get that more than I'd like to admit. I think people see the videos and I think that they just assume that they can bring the car in and have us dip them. Unfortunately, we haven't done customer installations for just going on 2 years now. We did that for a very long time, and then the distribution side of the business went in a direction where we simply couldn't focus on anything else. So we don't. Dip Your Car doesn't do installations for customers. We simply only do our shop cars for the promotions and videos and stuff, testing and purposes like that. But we answer that question the same way every time. We find out where they are, and we guide them to the that state, the page on the website where it shows them their local authorized Dip Your Car installers. And that's one of the most critical pieces for us to have authorized Dip Your Car installers. It's not a financial thing. It's not really anything like that. That program came about specifically so that we had people to point customers to all the time. I'm in Texas. Can you dip my car? Is there anyone that you know that can dip my car? We were like, I don't know, man. I mean, there's people out there that don't want to do it themselves, and
Right.
that's perfectly fine.
Right.
It's a big project. If you don't want to do it yourself and you want it to be done professionally, by all means, go to a professional. That's what they're there for, and a lot of them are very, very good at it. If whatever state you're in, and even internationally now, if you want to get your car dipped, we don't do it at Dip Your Car. The first thing you should do is go on to dipyourcar.com, click on the Find a Local DYC Installer link, click on your state, find those guys that are on there, check out their Facebook pages, check out their websites, even call them and talk to them a little bit. They're on that site for a reason. And we are very picky about who we put
Right.
on that site,
Right.
believe it or not. And that has been an evolving process. In the past, we weren't super picky because there weren't that many people out there that had the experience. Starting in 2014 is when we really put the hammer down, and we let a lot of installers go, and we really locked down the criteria that needs to be met. They have to be professional. They have to have a commercial installation facility, business license, tax ID. I mean, there's a whole bunch of different criteria. And you know what I'll see sometimes? Saw it the other day. People will complain if they're not approved. If you apply to be a Dip Your Car installer and you're not approved, there should be two things that you think about. One is, all right, whatever I got to do to get approved, I'll do it. Whether the pictures weren't on point or I don't have a business license or whatever it is, you should just find out what those things are and get them handled. And the second thing is, if you're a business and you're thinking about becoming an authorized Dip Your Car installer, you should love the fact in a way that we declined you, because what that means is we don't let in anybody.
Right.
And that banner, that title does mean something.
Right.
And that banner meaning something to me and our company is a very big deal. If somebody goes to the authorized Dip Your Car installer, that's got our name. We're the ones who sent them there.
Right.
You have to be able to walk away and be proud of your dip job and feel like your money's well spent. If you apply and you get in and you're like, Jesus, they let me in. I don't even know what the hell I'm doing. There must not be much to that program. What is that going to do for your business? Nothing. There's a reason why we approve people and decline people, and we want a very specific thing. We want professionalism. We want the customer to go in and feel very comfortable, and we get a lot of feedback.
Right.
A lot of feedback. People will go to DYC installers, come out, and give us a bunch of feedback and tell us how that dip went, and we get a lot of positive feedback. And if we rarely get negative feedback, you better believe we dig into that.
Right. Right.
And we find out all about it.
And for all those people where, they're in a state where at this time there isn't an authorized installer, or they live in a big state and there's somebody 7 hours away, nobody close, don't worry, we get calls all the time. I mean, 50 a day, looking to get set up with us.
Mhm.
And if you're somebody that's out there and, is turning that corner, just give us a call and ask to speak to Bennett and, get the wheels in motion.
Yeah, it's a very, very important program for our company, specifically because of the traffic that comes in, and we have to have somewhere or someone to point these customers to.
All right. Next, we got a question from Scott, and he wants to know, what do we use to mask our wheels? You see them in the video every once in a while when you're shooting entire cars. What do you use to mask the wheels?
Yeah, and that's actually really good timing, that question, because in the Mustang video, I actually mentioned that. We get that question. I must have gotten the same email because just yesterday somebody asked me that, and I was like, you know what? I've never mentioned it in the video. Let me just mention it. A lot of people don't even know that we have them. We use the canvas wheel masking bags. They're big canvas, heavy duty bags. They've got a wire mesh in them to make sure that they keep their shape. You just fit it right over your wheel. It fits everything up to and including, I think, a 21-inch wheel. The wheels on the S8 are 21. The wheels on the SQ5 are 22. They fit completely around, but there's like a 6-inch or 4-inch section on the bottom that they don't fit. We had to cover it with tape, but they fit up to a 21-inch wheel. They don't let any of the dip go through. Those are perfect. They're not super expensive. They're less than 30 bucks. You can keep them almost forever. We've been using the same ones for a really long time. That's how we mask our wheels. I've seen trash bags. I've seen a whole bed sheets and stuff. Honest to God, if you want to put a trash bag over it, I mean, dip's not going to get through. There's nothing really wrong with that. But if you're asking us what a turnkey way to do it is, a reliable way and a reusable way, there's wheel masking bags for a reason.
All right.
And you can get them at DipYourCar.com. And even in the Pro Car kits, when you make your Pro Car kit, you got all those options that you can add to it. You can throw those in there.
Right, right. And now to just a couple more questions. Chris wants to know, he loves the new gloss top coat like all of our fans or most of our fans, and he wants to know, is it going to be available in aerosol cans?
Oh, that's a good question.
Make those wheels glossy.
Shoot, I'm going to have to dance around that. It'd be awesome if it was. It's probably, if it was, it's not going to launch the same time as the gallons, but I would really expect it to be offered in an aerosol can.
That's a Jason Brozak tease right there.
Hey man, you got to learn from the best, right?
And then our last dipping question before we move on to a couple of those questions that were sent in to us that are a little bit less
Dipping
more
related?
more personal type
Okay.
questions. Last question is from Sage, and I saved this for last because I thought it was probably the best. People know that you can start pre-ordering this stuff. When can do-it-yourself customers and fans start pre-ordering this new coating?
The DYC top coat will be publicly available for pre-order next week. Today is what? Wednesday, January 28th. Next week. I would say by Wednesday of next week, it will be up. At the latest, next week, Wednesday, it will be up for public pre-order. And there's a lot of questions that are being PM'd to me on a daily basis. Is there a minimum? Is there a maximum that I can order? When is it coming in? There's no minimum. There's no maximum. We got a lot of gallons coming in. They will be coming in waves, though. So the purpose of a pre-order is that when they finally arrive at DipYourCar, they're going to be shipped out in the order that they were received. So if you wait till the day it comes out, say mid-March, say March 15th they come out, they're launched, you place an order then, don't expect that order to be shipped that day.
Right.
That's the purpose of a pre-order. People who want it and want it early and want it first will get the pre-orders in, and we will just chop down that tree of pre-orders one after another and get them all out the door. So
this is like
it's
that
timing critical.
This is like that Christmas present where you see like Christmas Day or Black Friday, all the parents lined up outside the store, just banging on the door, waiting.
I mean, if I was a dipper, I would be really freaking excited about this. I mean, I'm excited every time I get to use it. I've been waiting for something like this for a really long time, and I think you're going to see over the next 3 or 4 weeks, you're going to see a couple field test results coming out. I think there's a very, very small handful probably of DYC authorized installers that may get some field testing product and the opportunity to do a field test with the product before it goes public. And we're hopefully going to be able to share those results soon as well. So you're going to start to see more and more. We're going to continue to use it in videos. What's funny is I didn't really plan on using it in videos all the way up to the launch. I was going to use it once in a while. I didn't want to piss people off and make it all, the new top coat and just have them bark out, oh, why are you showing it to us if you can't use it? Or if I can't buy it, excuse me. But we put one video up without it, and all we got was where's the gloss? It would have looked better in gloss. That Evo, dude, that Evo with I don't even remember what we did on it.
Sapphire in the black and blue.
Yeah, that looked awesome. It would still dip that way. It looks awesome. It's a nice, clean satin finish. Nah, nobody wanted to see that. They wanted to see it glossed. So it's like, all right, you want that? I'll give it to you. It
Yeah,
is what it is.
and you know what? I've been monitoring a lot of the comments on not only YouTube but the Facebook posts and stuff like that, and nobody really seems to be too angry about it. It's like an anticipation. There's an
Right.
eagerness.
Yeah, there's an anxiety behind it.
Right, but and people are like, "Come on, when is this gonna release?" LOL. Like they know that it's around the corner and they're
By
waiting.
now, what's the point of getting pissed?
Right.
You know the date. It's going to be mid-March or earlier. And it's going to be one of those things where it's like,
Dun,
all
dun,
right,
dun.
it's coming. I'm going to get it. And once it launches, it's going to be kind of like the standard anyway.
Right,
You know, so
right.
it's already been out. Why get pissed about it now? It doesn't do you any good. I promise it isn't going to speed anything up.
All right, so we have 2 more questions to go. The first one being something that is more directed towards you, and then the second question I think Dan and I will handle a little bit more. First question is Silva Diaz this weekend. Who do you got?
That UFC fight, Nick Diaz or Nate, if we're talking to Adam, completely got confused, versus Anderson Silva on the comeback, and I honestly have no idea what's gonna happen. I mean, what do? You bet against Anderson Silva? You never bet against Anderson Silva. So I'm gonna say Anderson Silva is gonna win, but I wouldn't rule out Diaz, especially from a submission point of view.
The only person that bets against Anderson Silva, I think, would be Chris Weidman.
I mean, he has every right to, but yeah, either way. Yeah, I don't know. It's going to be an exciting, hopefully it'll be an exciting fight.
I'm marking
if Nick Diaz shows up.
All right. So who are we marking you down for?
I don't know. Silva.
All right. Dan?
Well, I mean, Anderson Silva, I think like you said, this is his comeback fight. So I really, really hope that's exactly what it is his comeback, because you forget Anderson Silva is Anderson Silva. I mean, look at how many fights he's had and how many he's won. I mean, this is a comeback from a broken leg. So I really just hope he just destroys Diaz.
Oh my God. You better not throw those leg kicks. All right, what do you got?
Okay, and last before we sign off is this weekend, Sunday, big game. Who do you got?
Super Bowl?
Yes. You got it right.
I don't even know.
All right, Dan.
Who's in?
I was going to say, do you know
Seahawks or something, right?
Seahawks and the New England Patriots.
I don't care.
Okay.
Seahawks. I'm taking Seahawks because it's the first one that came up.
Dan.
As a Giants fan, I hate the Patriots, but I hate the Seahawks even more. So I'm definitely going for the Patriots in this one.
And as an Eagles fan, I feel like we were ripped off of our one Super Bowl, so I have to say the Seahawks.
Cool.
And I think that's about it for the show.
Yeah, I'm not a football guy. Anyway, we will see what happens. We'll see if our predictions were correct. If you guys have any predictions for this, leave them in the comments below, and we'll see who's accurate and who's not. But I think that's going to wrap everything up. Next week is going to be an interesting week, I think. We're trying to get a guy in or a person in that's I think it's going to be a great guest. So we've got that lined up, and we're getting so many questions every time we you put that post up on DA or DYC community about the DipCast coming up. We've gotten so many questions coming in that really helps us, because it helps us build our show sheet out and take some of the questions, put them in as topics, use some of the other ones for your Q&A, and then we have a really good time. So other than that, it's Fonzie from Dip Your Car with Adam and Dan. Give him a little head bob. There it is.
There it is.
And we will catch you on the next episode.